Week 8 in the NBA is about to be one of the weirdest weeks of the entire fantasy season so far. Because of the NBA Cup, some teams only play one game this week, some play two, and only a handful are actually playing three, which means your usual schedule-based strategy is thrown out of the window. This week isn't about streaming the perfect matchups, it's about identifying the right players who are actually ascending, earning bigger roles, and breaking out at the perfect time of the season. And that's exactly what we're doing here today. Welcome back to The Corner, your number one destination for everything fantasy basketball related. Every single week, I'm giving you guys the perfect waiver pickups, trade targets, breaking news reactions, and everything you need to stay one step ahead of your fantasy league. If you haven't been enjoying the content here on the channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications to stay one step ahead, because this part of the season is where every single move matters. Now let's get into the video. Week 7 in the NBA was an interesting one, and if you were able to grab or trade for Kevin Porter Jr., you should be extremely happy right now with the production you have gotten so far. That's exactly why staying ahead of the wire matters and targeting the players who are low on the trade value. Now, as we move into week 8, which is going to be just as chaotic, if not worse, thanks to the NBA Cup schedule, teams are going to be all over the place, roles are going to be shifting, and this is the point of the season where you win or you lose momentum. So today I've got 5 players that you should be targeting to take advantage of this hectic week Adam Silver has skipped up for us. Whether you're trying to make a comeback or to protect your lead, these pickups can change the matchup. Now let's get into it. First on this list, we need to talk about Franz Wagner. On Sunday, he went down with a very nasty knee injury, and the moment it happened, you could just feel the entire arena hold its breath. We still do not know the full details of the severity of the injury, but based on how it looked initially, we should fully expect him to miss some time. And if that does happen, there's going to be a massive ripple effect in Orlando's rotation. The first name that you need to be watching, and honestly adding right now if he is still free in your league, is Anthony Black. Over the past couple of weeks, even before the Wagner injury, Black has been playing some really great basketball in the absence of Paolo. And now, with Franz Wagner potentially missing a lot of time, the opportunity is going to grow for Black. He's rostered in only about 22% of ESPN leagues right now, which is way too low considering the role he's about to step into. If you look at his production over the last 2 weeks, he's averaging around 30 fantasy points per night, and that's coming primarily in the second unit of minutes. He's been efficient, he's super confident, and he plays with the pace that fits exactly what Orlando needs when they're missing one of their primary scorers. And here's the key part. Black may find himself bumped into the starting lineup. We know that Jalen Suggs is constantly dealing with little nagging injuries throughout the season, so the Magic may lean on Black even more to stabilize that backcourt. So if Franz Wagner does end up missing extended time, Anthony Black may not just be a temporary streamer. He's someone you should seriously consider holding for the long term. Opportunity plus talent is what creates breakout stretches, and for Black right now, both of those things are adding up. Next up, we have Jordan Walsh, and honestly, this is not a name that I thought I'd be talking about this season. He started off this year as a purely rotational piece for the Boston Celtics, just filling in minutes, nothing special, but over the last 2 weeks, he has carved out a serious role for himself. Now, let me be clear. This is for a deep league ad only. If you're in a shallow league, like 8 to 10 teams, this probably is not going to be the recommended move for you. But Walsh has quietly averaged around 28 fantasy points over the last 2 weeks, and is coming from exactly the things that keep role players fantasy relevant: efficiency, steals, blocks, and smart basketball. He's not forcing anything. He's not trying to be a scorer. He's just consistently doing all the little things that the Celtics rely on him for. And when a contender like Boston starts trusting a young guy like that, it's usually the role that has a real chance to stick throughout the season. So just to clear this all up, right now I am cautious, but I'm very optimistic about Walsh. Walsh is someone I'm looking to add in deep league formats, and if this momentum does continue, he could become a more permanent part of Boston's rotation as the season goes on. And next up, we've got to talk about the Warriors, because this team is in an absolute drama-infested season so far. This backcourt is a complete disaster. In my last video, I mentioned Pods as a potential Warriors streamer, and of course, it just did not work out. I was not very confident in that recommendation, but the numbers lined up and I felt like it was safe. Golden State right now is in complete chaos. Curry is going to miss another week due to the thigh injury. Jimmy is on the trade block. I'm not sure exactly why that's the case. And rotations are shifting every single night. And it honestly feels impossible for me to recommend anyone on this team with confidence. But then Pat Spencer walks in like he owns the arena. This dude has an immense amount of swag. 3 straight games in a row at 15 plus points, instant impact, and energy off the bench. He just doesn't look scared at all right now. He doesn't hesitate. He just goes out there and he hoops. And the craziest part about all of this is that he was a former lacrosse player. He didn't play college basketball. He only played for 1 season, and now he's outscoring all of the Warriors guards like he's been doing this for years. If you look at his stats, the trend is simple. If Spencer plays more than 20 minutes, he's an absolute bucket. With Curry still out and the Warriors searching desperately for someone who can help create offense, I'm taking a chance on Spencer this week. The situation is messy. The floor is super unstable, but the upside is real. If you need points and momentum heading into week 8, I may just ride the Spencer wave while he's still here. Next up on this list, we have Cam Spencer, and yes, coincidentally, this is the brother of Pat Spencer, who we just talked about a second ago, and somehow both of these brothers are going crazy on hot streaks at the same exact time in the NBA. I mentioned Cam a few weeks back, and he's been quietly solid for the Memphis throughout the entire season. He's not a very explosive player at all. He's not flashy, but he is definitely serviceable, especially for fantasy managers looking for a reliable floor. What makes Cam interesting is that he played well with y'all on the court and also still playing well with y'all off the court. So his production isn't tied to one specific lineup or rotation. He's just not a long-term hold in my opinion, so I'm going to be very clear about that now. But as a short-term flyer, especially in deep leagues, if you need points or threes or steady minutes, I think Cam Spencer is definitely worth a pickup. Memphis is super banged up right now. They're looking for consistency anywhere that they can get it, and Cam has carved out a role that should hold for at least the next couple of weeks. So 100% do not expect the league winner from Cam Spencer, but expect someone who can stabilize your roster while you navigate this weird week 8 schedule that we have this week. And to wrap up this list, we have Robert Williams. Now, this is the second time I am recommending Robert Williams in the last 2 weeks. And honestly, it's because the time has finally come. Clingan is dealing with multiple injuries right now, and that has forced the Blazers to lean on Williams even more. Robert Williams, like I said last week, is a must-add player in deep league formats. The upside is just too real to have him sit on the waiver wire. And yes, he's not going to play back-to-backs. We already know this, but that actually works out perfectly for you as a manager. A smart fantasy strategy is that you can rotate him in and out of the IR spot to free up streaming space while still keeping his production locked onto your roster throughout the season. If Clingan ends up missing extended time, Williams is going to step into a bigger role by default. But even in his reserve minutes, he's shown he can impact the game with blocks, rebounds, elite efficiency, and everything you want from a deep league backup center. If he's still on your waiver wire, do not wait any longer. Go and grab him if you have the space. So these are going to be my 5 waiver targets for week 8. Let me know down in the comment section below if you think there's someone that I missed, because this week is going to be chaotic and value is popping up everywhere every day. Before you head out, don't just stop here. If you have enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay ahead of your entire league, click the video that's on your screen now to dive into my full weekly fantasy market watch playlist. In that playlist, I cover every major waiver target so far this season, every single trade target, and all the fantasy trends that you need to know to stay one step ahead of your league. If you're serious about winning this year, that's where you need to go next. Thanks for stopping by the corner. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.